Please open in your learning workbook to page 228. We're going to solve some ALEKS problems involving financial models that are not compounded continuously. How long will it take for a $5,000 investment to grow to $6,630 at an annual rate of 7.6% compounded quarterly? Assume that no withdrawals are made. Do not round any intermediate computations and round your answer to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so we're going to take the same approach we have in the previous videos. The moment that we see round to the nearest hundredth, we know that our final answer is going to look something like this. Something before the decimal and 2 digits after the decimal. Do not round any intermediate computations means don't round in the middle of the problem, only round when you get to the very end and you're looking at your final answer. And this warning, assume that no withdrawals are made. So let's just talk briefly about that. We're putting some money in a bank account and we want to know how much money there's going to be sometime later. So the question is, we know how much money sometime is later. We just want to know how long it will take for us to get that amount. Obviously, that amount of time is going to change if we are taking money out of the account during that time frame. So this is telling us that no money is being removed from the account while the money is growing. All right, so with all of that out of the way, we're now down to the essential elements of this question. How long will it take for $5,000 to turn into $6,630 at an annual rate of 7.6 compounded quarterly? Well, it says quarterly, not continuously. So the formula we're going to use here is F equals P, parenthesis, 1 plus R over N, close parenthesis, to the NT power. You may also see an A here. If you do, just remember it's the same formula. Okay, so let's plug in. $5,000 is the amount we have now in the present, P for present. We want it to grow to $6,630. That's the amount of money we want in the future, F for future. P for present, F for future. The interest rate is 7.6%. Well, remember, percent is a symbol that always represents the same value. It's the decimal 0.01. And when you multiply, you get 0.076. So this is 0.076 divided by N says compounded quarterly. There are 4 quarters in a dollar, so therefore there are 4 quarters in a year, and N will be 4. N times T is going to be N, which is 4, times T, which we don't know, because the question says how long. We're being asked to solve for the value of the variable T. Okay, we have everything we need right now to solve the problem. Let's begin. So the first thing I'd like to do is work inside the parentheses here. You'll notice that we have decimal division. Let's start with the fraction. 0.076 divided by 4. We get 0.019. And then we add 1, and that becomes 1.019, being raised to the 4t power. We still have the 5,000, we still have the equals, and we still have the 6630. Okay, great. This is an exponential equation of type 2. And the way we're going to solve it is by first isolating the exponential, which means we have to get rid of the 5,000. So divide by 5,000 on the right, divide by 5,000 on the left. And we're going to have 6630 over 5,000 equals 1.019 raised to the 4t power. Now, to solve this equation, we have to remember that type 2 problems are solved by taking the logarithm of both sides. And because this problem is asking us for a decimal, we can choose to use base 10 or base e, our choice. The base of the problem we're solving is 1.019, which is not 10 or e, so we'll just pick the one we want. We did e a bunch of times, so let's keep going with log base 10. We'll take the log base 10 of both sides. So we get log of this fraction equals log of this exponential. Remember that when we write log without a base, it is implied that the base is a 10. So we really are taking the log base 10 of both sides. It's just that we're not writing the 10 because it is not required. Okay, we're trying to solve for t. We'll use the power property and move the 4t in front of the log. So we get log of 6630 over 5,000 equals 4t log 1.019. We want to get the t by itself, and the way you get rid of multiplying neighbors is with dividing. This 4 is multiplying by the t. This log is also multiplying by the t. So in order to get the t alone, we have to divide by both of those things. So divide by 4 log 1.019 on both sides. All right, when we do, we get the exact value of t. T is exactly equal to the log of 6630 over 5,000, all divided by 4 log of 1.019. Now, I'd like to issue you a word of caution. This can be very tricky to enter in your calculator, especially if you do not have the multi-view calculator. So, if you don't have the multi-view calculator, my advice to you is going to be this. Put your entire numerator in parentheses, put your entire denominator in parentheses, and use the division key to represent the fraction bar. In addition, your argument in the numerator is also a fraction, and that should also be put in parentheses. All right, great. So let's go ahead and put this in our calculators, and we'll get our final answer. I'm going to do this in 2 different ways. First, I'm going to do it with the multi-view. So, fraction button. For the numerator, I'm going to hit log, and that gives me a starting parenthesis. I'll hit the fraction button again, 6630, down arrow, 5000, right arrow, close parenthesis. That's the numerator. Down arrow to get me to the denominator, where I will write 4 log, it gives me a starting parenthesis, 1.0191, close parenthesis, enter. You might notice that I'm not doing anything about these orange parentheses here because I've got the multi-view and I don't need those. So this tells me that t is equal to 3.72844, etc., etc., etc. And rounded to 2 decimal places, this is telling me that I have 3.73. And because this is annual, that represents 3.73 years. Okay, now what if you don't have the multi-view? How are you going to enter that in your calculator? Well, let's show you how to do that. My advice is to write it out on paper first, and then put it in your non-multi-view calculator. Okay, so we've got parenthesis for the numerator, then the word log, parenthesis for the argument, 6630, division key, 5000, close parenthesis on the argument, close parenthesis on the numerator. Divide by, open parenthesis on the denominator, 4 log, open parenthesis, 1.0191, close parenthesis on the argument, close parenthesis on the denominator. All right, so if you put that in your calculator, you should get the same answer. I will now do this myself. So here we go. Log 6630, divide 5000, close parenthesis, divide, open parenthesis, 4 log 1.0191, close parenthesis, and I get the same number as this. And when you round, you get 3.73 years. Okay, that's the end of this problem.